What's up, everybody? Welcome to Impact and Chill. I'm John. That's Aaron. Aaron, let me talk to you for a minute, bro.
Yeah, man.
What I want to know something, bro. What was your relationship like with your dad?
Ooh.
Yeah, I had a blindside you, bro. We're getting in, man. We're getting into this. Let's start it up, bro. Hey, I gotta
I,
answer it too. I gotta answer it too.
I love it. I love it that we're getting straight into it. Interesting that I un let's start with this. I understand my father more now than obviously when he was alive. Um,
Wow.
my dad, and let's be real, like I love my dad tip for bits. He's your mentor. He's the man that you look up to. He's the man that teaches you life lessons. Your dad's your dad. Like, let's get real here. However, he wasn't a present father.
Mm.
I remember I played sport a lot from when I was 4 years old, right through school, right through high school. Even when I left high school, I played a lot of sport. And I can only remember a handful of times that he actually watched me play those sports, whether I was doing swimming, whether I was playing softball. I played nearly everything, like water polo. I
Mm.
did a whole heap of shit. Um, but then it came to a point where he became a coach, a swimming coach, and I was in that swimming club. So he kind of wasn't the dad, he was the coach. So loving the bits, but he had an alcohol problem. He did the best he could to be a father. I don't think he was ready to be a father, didn't know how to handle being a father, couldn't step up. Was he the provider? Yeah, he did the best that he could to provide. But like I said, my father was an alcoholic, and he was a gambler. So being a present father, he wasn't present. He wasn't
Mm.
the man that I needed to help me navigate life in those moments. He didn't he didn't help me step up and take responsibility.
Mm.
So for fucking years, it was me, you know, playing in scarcity, me playing the victim, the blame game, not facing the hard things that life will throw at you. It's taking, and a lot I've had to learn on my own. But I think also a lot of what I did not see in my father, I'm hoping my son sees in me.
Wow.
But here's the catch, though. Here's the catch. I know that in my son's eyes, there's things I could do better as well.
Ooh,
So
damn.
it's a really interesting dynamic. I mean, and that's why I have to every fucking day step up, continue to
Damn.
step up, continue to learn, continue to be a better man, continue to do the things I need to do to be a better man, whether it be physically, mentally, emotionally. I have to embrace the challenge, the fear, the change. Like I've got to do things. It's not looking at doing things differently, and it's not looking at eh, continually impressing. And that's not what the game's all about. The game for me is all about that. Okay, what are the lessons my dad has given to me, the good and the bad? The relationship I had with him in the later years was probably the best because there was a period there where I just wanted to punch his fucking head in. I remember 16, 17 years old, I put three holes in the home we were living in. I put a hole in the door and I put a hole in a wall because I wanted to punch his head in, but I didn't punch his head in. So I hit the wall and I hit the door.
Damn, dude.
And and dad didn't replace the door. The hole in the door stayed there for the last few years that they actually stayed in that home. Didn't replace
Damn.
it. He didn't replace it. And he's good. That's a fucking reminder of how much a fuckwit you were. I'm like,
Oh
yeah, but
my
you're a dick. You're a dick. You tried to. And I'm like, but and this and yeah, we never spoke for I think about 3 or 4 years. Easily 3 or 4 years,
God.
probably even. Yeah, didn't hardly ever spoke, or maybe
How
have spoken
how
to him
were
once.
those years for you, bro? How were those 4 years?
Those years that I wasn't speaking to him, I was just a fucking party animal. Didn't care. Did not care.
Really?
Oh, I didn't care. I was like in the drugs and I was in the alcohol, and it's like, I was just working for the sake of working. So it would feed my addiction of being the party boy. I didn't give a fuck. Yeah. I didn't care. Like I was on drugs. I was, and look, I didn't do hardcore drugs. It was marijuana. Everyone fucking smokes a
Mhm.
joint every now and then.
Yep.
But yeah, look, for me, it was the drugs. It was the alcohol. It was the partying. Didn't want to take any responsibility at all for my life. Mate, I was just a fucking loser back then.
Whoa.
So if I had of all the things I'm doing now, if I had of taken all the things I'm doing now and applied that when I was a, 18, 19 to 22, 23 year old, dude, my life would be so much fucking different.
Mm,
So much different. And I think what it is like, yeah, I took no responsibility. I didn't give a shit. I didn't give a fuck.
damn. Now, do you say that all because you did not have a relationship for those 3 or 4 years with your father? Do you say that's why the life was headed that way? Why you were going down that route because you didn't really have direction from your father, or are you saying you just didn't give a fuck?
I just didn't give a fuck. Yeah, I had no direction. I think my dad, he was the controller. He tried to control all my actions, whereas I was the black sheep, the rebeller. I was the I was a rebel. Like I honestly did not care. The people I was hanging around with, like they say that you're your family, but they don't give a fuck. All it is just like let's
No.
just have a good time. Let's just fucking get on the
Mhm.
alcohol. Like I don't care. They don't care. You know what you're trying to do to where you're trying to head, where you're heading. They don't fucking care about that. They don't care about what your path is. It's like in that moment, let's just have a good time. We deal with the whatever comes our way, whatever comes our way. I mean, fuck, I remember when I was like about 17, 16, 17, I was at a pub and the cops came in and they did me for underage drinking.
Whoa. But you
So,
were like, fuck it,
oh yeah,
right?
didn't give a
Just
fuck.
fuck it.
Yeah, no, didn't care. Didn't care. So yeah, no, but I do also remember that the guy that caught me was like a senior sergeant, and my dad knew the senior sergeant.
Oh
So my dad got
shit.
a load of it and goes, he wasn't angry with me. He looked at it and went, "Mate, are you proud of yourself?" I don't give a fuck. It's like whatever. It's like
Mhm.
I didn't get arrested. It's like they just told me to leave, and it's like yeah, whatever. Did it stop me from going to the pub again? No, no, exactly. I was just really careful with where I was going. Yeah, no,
Wow.
mate. I got into the alcohol. I got into any little bit of money I earned was went on alcohol. Was I in the gambling? No, I wasn't into gambling. But yeah, like mate, I was just all about the party. I was all about because everyone else was doing it in my circle. Everyone else was getting on the
Mhm.
drugs. Everyone else was partying, and I'm like, I didn't care. Like I had no direction in my life. And I
Mm.
think my dad, look, like I said, my dad did the best he could. I love him to bits, but he wasn't present and he didn't help direct me in where I am in my life now. It's taken me a long fucking time to understand that. And I think when it got longer, when it got closer to obviously him passing, and that's when a fucking light bulb went off. Like, I was about to move to Australia, about to start a life, about to, start a family.
Yeah. When did you meet
My ex,
your yeah, your ex-wife?
Uh, met my ex-wife in fuck, it would have been about 1995, 96.
And how old were
Um,
you then?
I was 27 when we met. So
Okay, so you did
27 years old.
a lot of fucking partying way
Oh,
before
dude,
any of that.
right up until I was about 22, 23, I was just all in the fucking partying. I didn't give a shit. Yeah, I was training, but I was a skinny little shit and I needed to put on weight and I was training and like, but I wasn't taking it seriously. I was just going to the gym. And every weekend I was just fucking partying.
Mm.
It's just it was, yeah, it was a look. Do I regret those times? No, I needed to go through that and I needed to learn a lesson out of that. And I think the lesson was that you're on a dead road, you're on a fucking dead end. There's no path for you if you constantly go down the partying line. There was no path. And yeah, so there was a good, like I left home when I was 18, like 17, 18. I left home, left school when I was 16. And when I pretty much got my first paycheck, back in those days, we bought what was called crates of beer. And we're talking about big fucking bottles of beer. There's 12 of them. Like I
Yeah.
used to get, one of those every couple of weeks. And then I'd go around to a mate's place and we'd just sit there and fucking drink, get drunk.
Ah,
We'd drink till like 11 o'clock at night. And it's like, fuck, let's go to the pub or let's go to the club. Back in those days, it might have been a nightclub. Yeah, underage going to a nightclub. And it's like, we just didn't give a fuck. We just didn't care. There was no
So,
direction.
bro, let me ask you this. When did you reconnect with your dad after those 4 years? Well, how old were you then?
I think I would have been maybe 20. Oh shit, interesting. So would have been uh, give a little bit of context behind the story here. My mum and dad had they broke up for a bit, so they had a period of a couple of years where they split. And they split because I saw some physical and emotional abuse from my dad to my mum. But here's
Okay.
the other thing: both my parents were alcoholics. So not only did
Wow.
my dad hate my mum drinking, but also my mum hated my dad not being at home with the family. He was always at the
Yeah.
pub. So that's kind of like the toxic environment that it was in. And like I said, I love my parents. They did the best that they could, but my mum did the best that she could. But she had a problem with alcohol. And like with my dad, when they went through that separation, which was definitely a few years, I literally, that's it, fuck you, dad, I disown you kind of mentality. So that was a good 3 to 4 years, and it might have been, if I remember rightly, may have been from the age of around about sort of 22, 23, up to about maybe 25, 26, maybe even close to 27.
So
So I
right
think it
before
was
you
around,
met your ex, right before
yeah,
you met
so
your
around about 27, 28 years old, I'm like, fuck, I'm going to have to rekindle a friendship with my dad. It doesn't have to be the best relationship, but if I'm going to have a family, um, you know, I needed to realize, and I owned the shit that, hey, I may not have the most amazing relationship with my father, but he's my only father. My only
uh,
father, I'm gonna like, he's my biological dad. I'm not gonna be best mates with him, but at least have some form of relationship that is amicable.
mm,
So, yeah, we kind of rekindled a little bit, and it was like uh it was nerve-wracking and really tough and hard to kind of have a conversation with him, but I just needed to make some form of effort. And then obviously, my son came along, and then I kind of realized that, okay, I want my son to have a grandfather. You know,
wow.
I don't have to have the most amazing relationship, but I want my son to have a grandfather, to at least my dad to get to know my son in one form or another. And then it kind of, a relationship was more built on respect, understanding him a little bit more that he didn't know. You know, but then I kind of look at it and go, the guy I was, the boy I was at like 17, 18, up to about 22, 23, that was him. The
Damn.
stories I heard that his friends would say, mate, he was a party animal. He was, the how do I put it? Not even the showman, but the guy that was like the womanizer, and like, yeah, he was playing that. And
So,
I'm like, holy
bro,
fuck.
you were looking in the mirror.
Yeah.
It's basically what you were when you looked at
Basically,
him.
I'm like, holy
What?
fuck. Yeah. And then obviously as time got on, it just, then we started having conversations probably once every couple of months, which was, I barely call my parents maybe once every 2 to 3 months, but then
Mm,
realized that, and this is 3 months before he even passed away. I'm like, holy fuck, what a shitty son. Not even fucking contacting your parents. My bro, I barely contact my parents every like maybe half a dozen times a year. I'm like, what a fucking shitty son.
yeah.
And I regret not making more contact and more effort, because it's like, hey, you can't. There's going to be disagreements with your parents, but they just want the best for you. They just want you
Yeah.
to achieve everything you want to achieve in life. And
Wow.
here I was being a selfish little fucking asshole, them telling me what to do, don't fucking tell me what to do, like all that kind of bullshit. All they wanted to do was for me to live the best life I possibly could. The way they went about it was very controlling, directive. And it's like, don't fucking tell me what to do. That's my personality. But when I knew that he had the seizure, he literally died in the ambulance, and he was in intensive care for a few days before they put him in a ward. And then I found out that, like, the doctor said he had 6 weeks to live. I'm like, holy shit, I've got some time to make up. So I actually gave him a call every single day. Gave him a call every single day, because I knew at some point I was never going to hear his voice.
What? Oh, and it
So
took that.
yeah,
Listen to everything you just said, Aaron. It took that, dude. That
which
hits.
like, why the fuck do we have to wait until something serious and painful happens before we start to, realize what we have? Like we do it so fucking often. And again, that's a learning experience for me. Like my relationship with my son is the best I've ever got. He's my best mate. I
Mhm.
message him every single day. We speak on the phone like, maybe every 6 or 7 days. Like we actually call. Hey, he's shitty with messages. He doesn't respond as often as I'd like. But you know what? But it's not about what he's doing for me. It's like, what am I doing for him? I'm being a present father. I'm making sure I'm there for him. I'm also making sure that, hey, I'm going to reach out and say, g'day, how's your week been? Like, what's new in life? If it takes him 2 or 3 days to respond, I'm not going to hold a grudge on that. Like, because if I do, what do you think
Yeah.
kind of relationship we're going to have if I'm constantly going, fuck, you never contact your dad? It's like, I give him a joke. I'm like, thanks for recording. I joke about it. And he sees the funny side. I understand he's busy. Like, you know what? He's got 2 jobs. He works at a school, he works part-time in a retail store, and he also goes to uni. I know he's busy and he's got a partner, and like I know that. So if I play the guilt card and constantly going, you don't fucking care about your dad, then where am I in my life? Like, what the fuck are
Yeah.
you doing in your life to improve your quality and to improve all the things that you need to do? Focus on yourself, bro, instead of me
Mm.
constantly projecting my shit onto other people. So all I want to do is like I'm putting out that love, and this is what one thing I want people to kind of take away from this is, are you contacting 2 people every single day and just at least letting them know what you think, letting them know how you feel, having a conversation with them, not just going, hey, how you doing? How's your day going? That's good. Have a decent conversation. So I put that out there to people, put that there to all my listeners. Now, are you contacting the same people every single day, or are you contacting 2 people every single day, and that's an emotional depositing into those relationships? What are you doing? Are you doing that?
Wow.
So for me, that's what I come from. So yeah, there's a lot of fucking lessons, bro. But you know what? The hardest lessons came when he died, when he was no longer here. That's when all of a sudden the fucking
Oh.
light bulb came over. That's when all of a sudden I realized, holy fuck, what a, like, you know what? I don't say it very often, but this word comes out. So what a cunt of a son you were. Like,
Mm.
honestly, like, what a fucking shitty son. Your dad did the best he could. He loved you, and yet you were avoiding and not even contacting him for fucking years at a time and months at a time. All he wanted to do is he just wanted to know that you were okay. That's all he want. That's all we want. All we want to know is that our kids are okay. And yet here I was being really selfish and not giving a fuck about him, worrying about my own life. But again, lying about my own life and not even being, like I was back then, I was a useful idiot. Like, what were you adding to society? Nothing. I was just a fucking dropkick. Like, here I was being an asshole, going out to the pubs, getting drunk, treating people like shit. So I was adding no value to society, adding no value to my own life. I was not even looking at where I wanted to go. I was only in that moment, having a good time in that moment, waking up the next day, fucking hungover for 2 or 3 days and being not productive. But it took for my father to die to realize, what are you doing with your life?
Ooh.
So I'm like,
Oh.
holy, yeah, it's just like, for fuck's sake. So I've got time. I've got time to not only, and this is the hardest thing for men, owning your shit, owning your
Yeah.
failures, owning your mistakes, owning everything about you knew in that moment. Now you know that those decisions were the wrong decisions. Own that shit. Fucking own it. And as soon as you own it, all right, what do you do now? How do you redeem your failures moving forward? What do you need to do in order to ensure that you're living your best and most purposeful life? Because I guarantee you, if you don't fucking start that now, you're going to be on your deathbed and you're going to be going, if only,
Mm.
if only I had have fucking done the right things. If only I had had more purpose. If only I had have said I loved you to whoever it was one more time. You're
Oh.
never going to, like, let's bring it out there. Like, tomorrow's never guaranteed. When was the last time you said I love you to someone that actually, you needed to say I love you to? Because what's the guarantee they're going to be there tomorrow? What's the guarantee you're even going to be able to say I love you to, like, my father? All I'm doing is hearing a voice. Yes, he's my father, but he's my father in body. He had brain cancer. I could no longer have a conversation with the guy. I was only then getting to a point where I was having a conversation with him just to hear his voice because I couldn't have a conversation with him. He didn't know who I was. He, we couldn't talk about life, his experiences. Like, we just couldn't have a conversation. It got to a point where I was just talking to my father and listening to his voice. That's where it got to because I could not, he didn't know who I was.
So what you're saying, bro, is you missed out on those quality conversations, father son conversations, where you could have got maybe some of the reasons why he was the way he was,
Yeah, 100%,
right?
100%. Yeah.
Oh,
And instead of me not being a
oh,
fucking, yeah, not being an asshole and getting out of my own way, and
mm,
literally just try and be the man that I knew I needed to be instead of, you could say it was probably going through life with bitterness and hate and
mm,
anger. Not even probably bitterness, probably like really leading a life of anger. Hence, where the substance abuse came in and the alcohol and the drugs, to mask the pain that I was going through, the anger that I was going through, just so I could deal with it. I didn't want to confront my emotions. I didn't want to confront the true reality of where I was going. But the thing is that I wasn't honest and I wasn't asking those tough questions and having those tough conversations because it's easier to get drunk, get stoned. It's easier to do that than have the fucking difficult conversations. So if knowing what I know now, having the conversations that I should have had back then, yes, understand that my dad wasn't a present dad, but being fucking honest with him, if I had have done all of those things, maybe things would be different. Maybe I would have got my shit sorted out a lot sooner than fucking, 20 years later when I had a son and realized that, oh shit, I've got to get my shit together. Maybe things would be different, but I can't be stuck in the what if. I have to go, now's my chance to 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 do better, to rewrite the wrong. My chance is now, and that's my everyday. My chance is now to rewrite the wrong, to rewrite the story, to rewrite my limiting beliefs, to, rephrase what's going on in my subconscious, to look at all the shit that my dad was saying, like, and we go to childhood trauma and all that, like all these belief stories that I was told when I was a kid, they were him, they were his things. That's not me. And yet here we are, as we get older, all the things that we were told as a kid, our life is dependent on what we were told. No, that's their life. That's their things. So took me a while to go, love your mum and dad, but your shit is your shit. Do not fucking pass that onto me. You deal with your shit. I don't want your fucking shit. I've got my own stuff to worry about. You fucking leave your shit. And that's that belief story. It's all
yeah.
that story. Hey, perfect example. The relationship with money. My dad was a gambler. So therefore, it's like you win money. You a relationship you have with money, and a lot of us are feeling this at the moment. The relationship that we have with money is that if you get a whole heap of money, you feel you're not enough and you're not worthy to have all that money, so you spend it.
You
It
spend
has
it.
to go.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter how much money you earn. Like I had a business that was making, nearly a couple of $100,000 a year, but I was earning, 20 grand a month. And when you're earning 20 grand a month, it's like, yeah, cool, but I had to fucking spend it, didn't I? So I wasn't worthy
Mm.
enough of having all that money. So I look at it and go, that's the stuff I was taught by my dad. When money doesn't grow on trees, the people with money are evil. And it's like,
Mm.
what do you think I am, made of money? It's because he was a gambler. Because he was a gambler, he was in that mindset of that if I made money, I had to get rid of it.
Damn.
So big relationship with my dad, but I think most of it comes back to, who I was as a man, or who I am as a man. And that's my biggest takeaway. It's like your dad was your dad. It doesn't define who you are. Like now you need to carve your own path. Now you need to look at going, okay, well, what's my purpose in life? Like what legacy do I want to leave behind? The legacy my dad left behind was he was a great guy. He had a
Mm.
lot of friends and a lot of people looked up to him. He's a funny guy. He worked fucking hard to try and provide. Yeah, he made a lot of mistakes. We all make mistakes. I think one of his biggest things was that, and as we were taught as men, don't show emotion. So he never showed emotion.
Mm.
Hence why he was a gambler, and hence why he was an alcoholic. That was his safe space. That was the way that he could deal with the shit that was going on. He couldn't be honest. Couldn't be honest with us as kids as we got older, and he couldn't be honest with, especially his wife. So he was dealing with his own demons in his own little way because, again, he didn't have anyone around him that was strong enough to go, hey, talk to me. Talk to me.
Wow.
What are we going through? And then what do we need to do to get out of this shithole? So
Damn,
that's me.
dude.
Yeah, man. Do we have to do a part two about you, bro? I think we might have to do a part two. That kind of
I
went on.
think, yeah, I think that's what we do, bro. I think we do part one you because this was fire. And there was so many hidden gems in there. I hope when you guys are listening to this, you see that because man, even for me, a lot of the stuff you were saying, Aaron, was hitting. And I know other people were hitting too because it's just you don't realize, bro, that there's so much that affects how your relationship with your parents, it affects your life.
Yeah.
Even though you're like, nope, keep your shit over here. I have my own shit. But we don't realize it's all built in based off of how we were how the experiences we had growing up, dude. So 1,000%
You
would
know
do a
what?
part two.
You will do a part two because we're going to
Yeah.
find out about your life. And I think the biggest takeaway from all of this, and one thing we've lost a lot in society is that we're no longer coming from a place of love.
Mm.
If you just came from a place of love, how would you see this other person? How would you actually see the world if you actually just came from a place of kindness and a place of love? And it's really hard for men to open up their heart because that's vulnerability. We're
Yeah.
not gonna, that's also rejection.
Yep.
It's also loss. It's hurt. And a lot of men don't want to be open to that because they're hurting enough. So if all of a sudden you opened up your heart a little bit, all of a sudden you just came from a place of kindness and you came from a place of love. And here's something that I want people to it's something I want you to do every day. And be very, very mindful about where this is coming from. Because this is not about, well, if I do this, then I should get something back in return. Fuck that.
Mm.
This is not where we're coming from. This is solely and wholly for you and making you feel good enough within yourself, and whole as a person. Don't ever, ever look at an act of kindness or an act of love. Okay, what am I going to get back in return? Because if you're doing that,
Ooh.
you know what? You've come from the wrong place, and the universe is going to fucking give you the exact shit, because nothing's going to work for you. So, what I want you to do, and this is part of the Live Hard program, which is the 75 Hard. This is an extension of that. So, this is phase 3. And this is stuff that I'm actually practicing now. And I want you to do 2 things every single day from now on. I want you to start being kind to people. Anyway, just have a conversation with a stranger. And it starts
Wow.
with a hello and a smile with a stranger. Just that. The second one I want you to do is an act of kindness, whatever that is. One random act of kindness. It could be paying it forward, buying someone a fucking coffee, the next customer that comes into a store, buy them a coffee. It could be that. Or it could be that if you see some rubbish on the ground, pick it up. Or if you
Mm.
see someone that's struggling, help them. Just a random act of kindness. You do those 2 things every single day. How do you think you'll feel as a human?
Oof. Now let me ask you this, bro. So you just asked a question there, but I want you to tie a bow on this thing. What question would you want to leave everybody with as we close out this week's episode? What do you want people walking away? What question do you want right here for them to answer?
What part, what type of person do you want to be?
So
What
good, man.
type of person do you want the world to see you as?
So good. So good. Because that's the thing, right? Is it's such an open-ended question, which is what
Mhm.
we want. I don't want you to be able to answer it with one just formal answer that's so generic and bland and this, that. You got to think that's one that hits.
Yep.
You got to sit on that. So what we would say, that's your homework for the week until we get to next week's episode. we would love to see some of that stuff in the comments.
Yeah,
We'd
please.
love for you guys to follow us. Yes, let us know, what type of person do you want to be? Mr. Aaron out in the Gulf Coast wants to know, and I want to know. Yeah, because dude, when you burn that into your brain every day, you have to say that every day.
Mm.
It's not a one time only, right? Exclusive. It's a everyday question. I love that question, bro.
And you
Damn,
know
this
what?
was good.
And I want to end here as well, is that, yeah, there have been some shitty times, but I think the biggest thing that we always misunderstand is understanding the other person. I think
Mm,
we miss that quality a lot, is that we fail to understand where this other person's coming from. So if you got like if you took yourself out of the equation and you actually paid attention and listened to what people are saying, get rid of the judgment, get rid of you answering the questions as they're speaking. Just be completely open to what they're saying. And look, as a man, and if you've got kids, they don't fucking listen to what you say. They don't care. They don't care what you say. They will listen, but will they actually pay attention and act on it? Me as a kid, no, I didn't. But they'll always watch you, always. And I know my son being 22, 23 years old this year, I know he's always watching.
ah,
And the biggest thing I can do is, and probably a follow on from the question before of who am I? What legacy do you want to leave behind? How do you want
mm,
people to remember you? Because it
yeah.
starts now. It doesn't start when you're on your fucking deathbed. So that was a deep one. But you know what?
Damn, bro.
I think it needed to be said. And hey, I'm just being real, being honest with where I'm at. But I'm okay with that. I
Yeah,
don't hold any grudge. I don't hold any anger. There's no bitterness. I love my dad for, for who he is. He's present around me all the fucking time. And as a child, as a kid, all you want is you just want your parents to be proud of you. That's all
that's
we
right.
want.
That's right.
I, I think I said it in a couple of other podcasts. My mum always said that, hey, Aaron, whatever makes you happy, just do whatever makes you happy.
Yeah. It's good
You know,
advice. It's
yeah.
good advice.
And she's like, if I fuck up, I'll own it. And she'll go, well, that was fucking stupid, wasn't it? You know? But the biggest thing is that all I want people to do is that if you just come from love and you come from kindness a little bit more, um, you won't be able to change the world straight away. We want the world to be a kinder, more loving place. We want people to, respect other people. But here's the thing, you're not going to be able to change the world in your lifetime, but at least you can change your world.
Damn, there it is. There it is. That's so good, man. So, so good.
Conversation needed to happen. And I think, well, yeah, I just want more people to look at your own world, look at your own life, look at your own relationships, and yeah, make amends. Start now.
And there it is, everybody. Aaron dropping bombs, dude. I'm so, so happy we had this one. I knew it was gonna be a two-parter just because as you started speaking, there was just so much that needed to be said, man. And I just
Yeah.
think that it's just gonna be a valuable two-parter. Everybody's gonna get a lot out of it because I have a very similar story, a very different story. So you're gonna see, man.
Right.
Wait for
So
part two, everybody. Wait,
part
just
two,
wait.
part two next week. It's John's story. And this is a build up of, where we're at as men and why we act the way that we do, because absolutely that story is a part of why we do what we do. So, yeah, man, I hope everyone enjoyed that. I know you have. I feel better in having the conversation. I feel lighter. I feel, again, there's a little bit more purpose, a little more clarity on, all right, what do you need to do? What decisions need to be made? So yeah, I just, if anyone did get any value from it, please just share it with someone that you think needs to hear the story. But also, where are you at in your world? Make those difficult conversations with yourself. Have the difficult conversations with yourself. Make those difficult decisions that need to be made. Don't be afraid. We're going to fuck up in life. That's just life. Life isn't an easy road. It's going to throw you a fucking nuclear bomb every now and then. So it's going to kick you in the balls, as I say. It's making sure that just own that. It's okay to fuck up. It's okay to fuck up, but own that shit, especially as your man. Own your failures, own your fuck ups. Don't be an asshole. You know, own it, be a real man, step up, and stand in your truth. And your truth is owning the shit, owning your failures, owning when you fuck up. If you can do that, at least you can actually start moving forward and going, okay, I can be a better man today.
There you go. Impact and chill, dude. This one was fire. Aaron, thank you so much for being so vulnerable, dude, and just sharing all what you shared with everybody today, man. It was epic, and I'm here for it.
You're
Uh,
welcome, brother.
you know what, brother? Until next week, dude. I got no words, man. This was all you, and I appreciate you. So thank you for sharing. Thank you everybody for listening, and we will definitely talk to you next week.
Love you all. Ciao.
See ya.